Hello, everyone. Welcome to Facebook Live. It is Wednesday, January 10th, 2024, and we are playing with this adorable Adoring Hearts bundle. No, it's not a bundle. It's a stamp set, and then there's a hybrid embossing folder that goes with it. So we'll be playing with that. My laptop is really acting up today, so I'm not going to be able to share this right now to my group, but I will do that later. Hopefully I'll be able to get it to work so I can put this on my blog at some point. Surely it will. But what I do, I'm come to you live every Wednesday and we make something. And then on my blog, usually right after the video, we'll see tonight. It's not working very well, so it may be later or tomorrow. But usually on my blog, I'll put the dimensions of everything that I used so that if you want to recreate this, hey buddy, then you can do that. And then I also give away the card next week. So last week we made this birthday card. This was a retiring set, which is now gone. You can't get it anymore. But I will tell you at the end who won this card. All right, let's get started. I don't like this. That paper is straight. There. Okay, it was bugging me. My paper wasn't straight. All right, let's get started. So just to give you an idea, here's the stamp set, Adoring Hearts. And all I really used from the stamp set is this Just For You. That's all. And then if you're not familiar with the hybrid embossing folder, what you have is an embossing folder, a thick one, a 3D one. So this is the embossing folder. Has all those hearts on it, which you probably can't see. And then the hybrid part of it is there's dies. And this has more than just the dies that cut out the hearts. It's got some you can put over the top. You know, you could cut out solid hearts and then put gold on the top. It's got some little extra accents. That's the die I used for the sentiment. But this is the one that goes with the embossing folder. So what happens is you can put the die, and it kind of sits right in there, in the embossing folder. Put your paper in there, run it through, and I'll show you because I've already done the pink ones for the card beforehand. And it cuts and embosses in one step all these fun little hearts. So they're all beautifully embossed and cut out. So that's how a hybrid embossing folder works. And we're just going to use 3 of these. It cuts all of them at once. All right, let me try not to lose my pieces. But we're going to do something a little bit different. Well, let me show you one more thing. This is a embossing folder that is part of Celebration. So if you don't know about Celebration, it is January and February. You can get free products for every $50 spent or $100. This one, it actually goes with a stamp set, and so it's free with a $100 purchase. But I used it on the background of this to emboss this red. So this is Flirty Flamingo and Real Red. And then this paper, oh, I forgot to grab it. Hang on one second. So this paper is a Celebration item. It is called Most Adored. So you can get it free with a $50 purchase. Let me move this out of the way for the moment. And it has Real Red and Flirty Flamingo are the colors in this, so that's why I use those colors. But it's got red, and then it's also got gold. So it's really beautiful paper. And there's some hearts with a really nice plaid on the background. And then that with some more hearts. So even after Valentine's, you can use like this plaid you could use for anything. And then you've just got these nice gold florals and geometric images that you can use later. All right, set that aside. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different. You might be wondering how I got this color on those embossed hearts, and I will show you. So we're not going to put our die on there quite yet. You want to be sure you're working on the side that has the Stampin' Up. And I'm going to bring a scratch paper over. And we have a new tool called a brayer, and I just learned Saturday night, these little things that poke out, that's so you can rest it and it won't get ink everywhere. All right, so we're using Flirty Flamingo. And when you're doing this, move this for just a second, you don't want to go back and forth, otherwise you'll just get one part of it. So you want to just keep going like this and kind of go back and forth this way to make sure you get the whole length inked up. And then when you get that inked up, just roll it across here. And you can always go back and get more ink. Roll it across some more. And some more over here. All right. Now put that on its feet. I'm going to put this away for the moment. Now we want to carefully lay our die on there till it kind of sits in there. And then I found that a 6x6 is the best. So lay that on there, fold that up, hold on to it because we got to get our die cut machine over here. And so since this is let me scoot you up just a little bit so you're not sitting right on top of that. Since this is a 3D embossing folder, you use the same sandwich you always do for 3D. So it's the base plate, your folder, and then this embossing plate. And I'm just trying to make sure that that doesn't move until I run it through. All right. This out of the way. All right, you ready for the magic? Look at that. Now this you can just wipe off with a baby wipe, run it under the sink. But now we have all these beautiful little hearts that are embossed and inked. Come out of there. And you've got this left over. I mean, you could do something with that. I haven't, but you could. So now we have all these beautiful inked and embossed hearts. Isn't that fun? And easy. Now, if you don't want to cut them out, you can just create an embossed background like this. So that's just with the embossing folder. And I'll show you a card where I used that. All right, so let's make our card. Let me find all my pieces. We do have one more thing to stamp, and that is we're not going to use all these hearts. Our sentiment, and it's just for you, and we're going to stamp that in real red. And I'll put it on it's not very thick, but just to be safe, since it's a photopolymer stamp. Make sure I'm staying in frame here. All right. So just stamp your sentiment. Whoop. All right, now we're done stamping. Get all this messy stuff out of the way. here's all our pieces. This is that, using that Softly Sophisticated or whatever it is, embossing folder. Yeah, Softly Sophisticated. Kind of hard to see on camera, I think, but. And then I have 3 strips. Whoops, I don't want to lose my sentiment. From that Most Adorned, I think it was, paper. So I kind of laid my hearts out. So I just alternated, and I tried to make sure I didn't have the same design right next to each other. Nope, not that one. No, I don't want to use that one either. All right, well, we'll use that one. And then we want one of those. Whoops, over there. And one of those. So that's the way I want it laid out. So what I ended up doing is I would just put my glue on here and then just kind of move one of them and start to put it on, because I want it to be kind of in the center of those hearts. It's got that beautiful gold on the back of it. And I'm using liquid glue because then I can wiggle it a little bit if I need to. And I'm also doing it before I put this on my card base, so that if my strips are a little bit too long, then I can trim them off before I put it on the card base. All right, next one. And one more. Thanks, Betty. I'm glad you like it. I just saw your comment. Sometimes I get busy crafting and I forget to look at the comments. Like that one looks like it might be a little bit long. Let's see. All right. I think we had them like this. And then I have all of these left over to do something else with. So that'll be fun. I'm just going to set them aside for the moment. All right, let's see if we need to trim. Yeah, just a little bit, not much. And my scissors. This one's just a little bit too long. And that one even less, but still a little bit. That one looks okay. All right. Now we can put this on our card base. Again, I'm using liquid glue. That's because this is embossed and it just gets in those little crevices better and makes it stick. Just hold it for a minute. And then I'm going to lay these back on just so I have an idea before I start gluing them down. Whoops, come back here. I still have glue on my finger. And then I used liquid glue on these also, since they are embossed. I just think these end up real pretty. I would like to try, I'll have to try it, doing the same technique with the brayer and the ink on colored cardstock. For example, take the Flirty Flamingo and ink up the embossing folder in real red, and do the same thing and see what it looks like. You could do cards with these for a wedding. Like if you wanted to do in their wedding colors, you could do this. It would be really pretty. All right, and then for the sentiment, I did put it on dimensionals. Grab those real quick. I think I used regular sized ones. And then because you have to have, it's stuck to my finger, bling, I pulled out, these are Blooming Pearls, and they carried over from the holiday catalog. But I thought this pink was just perfect for this. Kind of elegant and shiny. So I did a big one and a small one down here. And then one small one up here. And that is it. So looks very difficult, but when you do that embossing folder, you end up with bunches of hearts, and it was really easy. So somebody will win that next week. I have some other cards to show you. So this card is one we made in class. Here, let me put these aside for a minute. And I just used the embossing folder and then just some of that paper and some ribbon. And this time I just used a straight piece of white. So that was one we made in class last week. And then these three were from a technique class I take with my friend Kay. So that's just the embossing folder. There's a die in this set. This one that cuts out a bunch of little hearts. So that's what this is from. And then this was another one from that class. And so she used some rose gold. This is actually the rose gold and Calypso coral that carried over. And then this is Calypso coral that she used, but did the same thing that I did with the Flirty Flamingo and these little copper sequins. So that just turned out perfectly. And then this one is just with the gold paper. And then she used gold foil to do one of the hearts. And then this is actually Berry Burst, which I like it with the gold and some ribbon. And then I made, for class last week, these little treat boxes. So similar to what you've already seen, but that's treat boxes I made. All right, that is everything that I can show you for those adoring hearts. Let me tell you who won this card from last week, and it's Nancy. So I will get that to Nancy. And somebody will win this card next week. So I think that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.